Good morning. It's my honor and pleasure on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines to present to you to watch a video program the Chamber has prepared to commemorate Remembrance Day in this year 2022, to honor and remember all those Canadians who served and many who gave their lives in various conflicts to protect freedom and oppose aggression. The tradition of commemorating Remembrance Day is a solemn one for Canadians. It started after World War I, that horrific conflict in which more than 650,000 Canadians served, of which more than 172,000 suffered injuries, that's about 1/3, and of which 60,000 gave their lives, that's about 1 in 10. What a tremendous sacrifice to protect freedom and oppose aggression. World War I was not just the Western Front. It also included on land the Serbian Front and the Italian Front in Europe. And it also included the sea. There were engagements in the North Sea, there was the Mediterranean Sea, and then there was the Atlantic. And Canadian sailors served in World War I in protecting shipping that brought supplies and troops to Europe to sustain the battles there. Remembrance Day also not only remembers World War I, it remembers World War II, it remembers the Korean War and peacekeeping operations in which Canadians served. And it includes conflicts such as Afghanistan, which we're all aware. Our program today, however, will focus on 3 aspects. It will open with a video we've prepared which lists the battles in which Canadians fought on the Western Front in World War I, including a photograph of each in sequence. There were more than 50 such battles, a huge number. We don't remember all of them, but all of them should be remembered. The second part of the program will be messages from the Minister of Veterans Affairs, from the President of the Canadian Legion, and from the Chargé d'Affaires at the Canadian Embassy in Manila, who will invite us to participate in 2 minutes silence to remember and never forget those who served and fell. The third part of our program will be an appreciation by the Defense Attaché based in Jakarta, who is accredited to the Philippines. And he will show us a brief video of Canadians who are serving in this century, in this year. In this case, we will be looking at Afghanistan. It is now my pleasure to invite you to watch this video of photographs and list of battle honors where Canadians fought and fell in World War I. We must never forget, we must remember them. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Lawrence Macaulay, Canada's Minister of Veterans Affairs. Like so many Canadians, I'm thinking of our veterans. This is a time for remembrance and for us to reflect on the sacrifices that so many Canadians have made on our behalf. If you're a veteran or someone working to improve the health and well-being of Canadian military personnel, veterans, and their families, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing for Canada and what you do for those who served. Lest we forget.
Hi, bonjour. As Dominion President of the Royal Canadian Legion, I am pleased to have this chance to talk for a moment about the importance of remembrance. The red poppy is the most visible and respected remembrance symbol in Canada. It is integral to Remembrance Day and worn by millions during the National Poppy Campaign. But it's important to understand the meaning behind this iconic symbol. Each November, we are thanking the 120,000 military and RCMP veterans who have fallen in the service of Canada in times of war and in peace. It is their sacrifices that have given us the lives of freedom we enjoy in Canada today. There are several ways to pay your respects this year. No matter where you are, you can watch Canada's national ceremony organized by the Royal Canadian Legion on our website, legion.ca. You can go to poppystories.ca and use your smartphone to scan your red poppy. You will be taken to a short story about a Canadian veteran. It is a wonderful way to personally connect with our veterans. Or visit mypoppy.ca to create a personalized digital poppy to share with your friends on social media. Of course, you can simply close your eyes for 2 minutes and think of our veterans with gratitude, wherever you may be. Whatever ways you may choose, you are showing you understand the century of sacrifice by the women and men of the Canadian Armed Forces and RCMP. Whenever you meet a veteran, they will be grateful to hear you say, "Thank you for your service." We recently lost a veteran of great renown, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. We thank her for her service. Among her lengthy contributions to the Commonwealth, she was a wonderful supporter of the Legion's work. And it is why we are known as the Royal Canadian Legion. This November, we pay her special respects. We remember Her Majesty, and indeed all of our veterans. Thank you, merci.
Today, millions of Canadians, regardless of where they reside, pin the poppy to their lapel to remember the servicemen and women who served since the First World War. The poppy is a symbol of remembrance to the life-changing sacrifices in both World Wars and in Korea, as well as in conflict areas, from Cyprus to Bosnia, to Somalia and Eritrea, to Mali and Sudan, to Kosovo and the Congo, and of course, Afghanistan. Here in the Philippines, we pay homage to the Canadians that fought alongside American and Filipino soldiers in the Second World War. Some of them never returned home. We remember all those that served alongside the armed forces, from diplomats to journalists, humanitarian workers, and others. We also remember parents, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters that never saw their loved ones again. And today is also an opportunity for all of us to pay tribute to all those currently serving on the front lines of ongoing wars and conflict areas. Armistice Day, or Remembrance Day, originated following the end of the First World War. The Armistice Agreement was signed between Germany and the Allied forces in Paris on Monday, November the 11th, 1918 at 5 a.m. The ceasefire went into effect that very morning at 11 a.m. Emotions were high: relief, celebration, disbelief, and a profound sense of loss. Today, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, I invite you to join me to observe 2 minutes of silence in commemoration of the fallen, of the injured, and all of those that surrounded them.
Members of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, special guests, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, I'm Colonel Stu Taylor, the resident Canadian Defense Attaché for Indonesia and the non-resident Canadian Defense Attaché accredited to Timor-Leste, Brunei, and the Philippines. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for inviting me to participate in this virtual commemoration of Remembrance Day, an important day for Canadians around the world. For more than 100 years, the Canadian Armed Forces, Canada's military, has been there in times of need. Members of the Canadian Armed Forces have served proudly in 2 world wars, in Korea and Afghanistan, and in countless missions at home and abroad. Remembrance Day is a time to reflect on the incredible strength and sacrifice Canadian veterans have shown throughout our history and right up until today. Remembrance Day is a time to honor those Canadians who have served our country, those who have worn and wear the uniform of our Army, our Navy, our Air Force, or our Special Operations Forces. And least we forget.
The day I shipped out, they numbered a dozen. Upon my return, we're 100 or so, from the coast and from the prairies. I bet they keep coming. Add one more name from Ontario and carry me home down the highway of heroes, people above with the flags flying low. Carry me softly down the highway of heroes, true patriot love, there was never more. I served with distinction, no visions of glory. I served without question of personal gain. Seek no justification, it's not part of my story, and it offers no comfort to the ones who remain. Just carry me home down the highway of heroes, people above, with the flags flying low. Carry me softly down the highway of heroes, true patriot love, there was never more. Took up my vocation, I was called by my nation without hesitation. My answer I gave. Now I'm not wondering the things that I might have been, are no consolation to the forgotten brave. So carry me home down the highway of heroes, people above with the flags flying low. Carry me softly down the highway of heroes, true patriot love, there was never more. Carry me home down the highway of heroes, people I love with the hands down low. And carry me softly down the highway of heroes, true patriot love, there was never more. 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 There was never more.
The following video, A Pittance of Time, is a 2002 Canadian folk song written by Mr. Terry Kelly, which serves as a reminder of the importance of reflecting on the strength and sacrifice of those Canadian veterans who have served before us and those who continue to serve today. Mr. Kelly wrote the song to remind people to observe the 2-minute silence on Remembrance Day after he saw a man in a shop failing to do so. Thank you again for inviting me to this important commemorative event.
Good morning, shoppers. At 11 o'clock on this 11th day of November, we'd like to invite you to share with us 2 minutes of silence in honor of our veterans.
They fought and some died for their homeland. They fought and some died, now it's our land. Look at his little child, there's no fear in her eyes. Could he not show respect for other dads who have died? Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who went over. In peace may they rest, may we never forget why they died. It's a pittance of time. God forgive me for wanting to strike him. Give me strength so as not to be like him. My heart pounds in my breast, fingers pressed to my lips. My throat wants to bawl out, my tongue barely resists. But 2 minutes I will bide. It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who went over. In peace may they rest, may we never forget why they died. It's a pittance of time. Read the letters and poems of the heroes at home. They have casualties, battles, and fears of their own. There's a price to be paid if you go, if you stay. Freedom's fought for and won in numerous ways. Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls all over. May we never forget our young become vets at the end of the line. It's a pittance of time. It takes courage to fight in your own war. It takes courage to fight someone else's war. Our peacekeepers tell of their own living hell. They bring hope to foreign lands that hate mongers can't kill. Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who go over. In peacetime our best still don battle dress and lay their lives on the line. It's a pittance of time. In peace may they rest, lest we forget why they died. Take a pittance of time.
thank you so much for joining with us and watching this program to honor those Canadians who served and many who died in service, protecting freedom and opposing aggression. This program was produced by the Canadian Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, but would not have been possible without the support and cooperation of a number of key persons and institutions. First of all, I would like to express our appreciation to the Canadian Minister of Veterans Affairs, the Honourable Lawrence Macaulay, PC MP. We appreciate his message and we appreciate the good work of the Department of Veterans Affairs in supporting our veterans. Second, I would like to thank Mr. Bruce Julian, President of the Royal Canadian Legion, for all the good work that the Royal Canadian Legion does today in support of our veterans. And indeed, I would use this occasion to invite you all to make contributions to the Royal Canadian Legion to help them sustain the good work that they do. Thirdly, I would like to thank the Canadian Embassy in Manila, in particular the Chargé d'Affaires, Mr. Guy Boileau, for his very eloquent invitation for us to pay respects to those who served and those who died with 2 minutes silence. I would like to thank also Colonel Stuart Taylor, the Canadian Defense Attaché based in Jakarta, who is accredited to the Philippines and who gave us this very appreciated thank you and showed us a good example a few years back of how Canadians in this century, in this decade, continue to serve and in many cases die in the protection of freedom and opposing aggression. Finally, I would like to thank the Canadian Chamber of Commerce staff, in particular Ms. Heidi Del Pilar, who produced this program. It took a lot of work and time, and I would like to thank them for that effort. Thank you very much for joining us in this commemoration of Remembrance Day 2022. Thank you so much.